Well, welcome to the old Lumens channel again. After my video that I did about soldering a trim ring together, I had a popular request that, gee, I ought to actually show how to solder. I'm sorry about that. I just never thought, I guess. I figured, just took it for granted that everybody soldered. I may not be the best one to show you how to solder because I'm not all that good. I have not learned any techniques from any expert. I just learned how to do it on my own. I'm much better soldering something larger like a pipe. That's how I learned to solder was when I was young. I worked as an apprentice with a plumbing guy and learned how to sweat solder pipes. So sweat soldering a pipe is real easy for me, or a piece of copper. When it comes to a circuit board, I'm terrible. My hands are too shaky, and I usually make a mess of a circuit board. So all I can do is show you how to solder copper, solder small parts, and the method I use. I'll go over a little bit about what I use for tools. First of all, I have this Ronson butane torch. This is just a fantastic torch to me. It's a Ronson Tech torch. It's a butane, and it works fantastic for my needs. I have a small tray of items that I keep for my soldering. I have rosin soldering flux. Okay. I have several different types of solder just I've had over the years. Here's a big roll of Oatly. This is lead-free. Boy, I don't like this lead-free stuff. It's hard to solder with it. This is 95% tin, 5% antimony. It's a lot easier to solder with like a 60-40 lead. But this is a rosin core solder. I use all rosin core. I don't use acid core. I know there's purposes and reasons for acid core, but that's all I use is rosin core. It's really makes it a lot easier. There's another roll of copper. This is 60-40. I have the fine stuff that you can buy in Radio Shack or online. This is 60-40 rosin core solder, and it's thin stuff. I use it quite a bit. I also have some silver solder. I really have only used this once or twice. It's a real pain to use silver solder. It takes a lot of heat to get it to work, and it's really difficult for me. That's about it. The only other thing, is I do have some of the braid for removing solder that works well on circuit boards when you need to take solder away. Anyways, I'm going to go ahead and show you how to solder a few little copper items, just to give you an idea of what to do. Okay, I think I got my tools laying here where I can readily access them. We'll just start with a piece of copper that I've already basically soldered on. I'll solder something else onto it, but here you can see this copper's tarnished. Okay, so I can use sandpaper and clean up the copper and rough it up. It's just like gluing. When you glue two surfaces, you want to rough them up a little bit to give them something to stick to. And also on copper, you just want to get it clean, get anything off of it like a residue. Okay. You can wash pieces down with a solvent, but I don't get that fancy. So if I'm going to do a piece like that, then I can go into my flux and get a little flux on it And you don't have to have a lot. Okay, just put a little flux on it. I got a piece of copper wire here. Okay, and I have my solder. That's what you get out of a like Radio Shack. You just get a tube full of solder. Okay, I'm going to use the thin stuff. I'm not going to use thick stuff. And then I'm going to take my torch and a lot of things you can pre-solder, or you can just lay it together and solder it. I'm going to do a little pre-soldering to give you an idea of what to do with pre-solder. Yeah, I got to do this one. And all I do is I heat up the item and then see if solder melts on it. Okay, you see how I just heated it up until I know solder melts. And as you heat, see how the solder spreads? The thing is that solder, when you want to solder a spot, like if you were soldering a pipe together, you would put the pipe joint together and then solder back a little ways while you hold the solder to the seam. And then as the pipe heats, it actually sucks the solder right in. Okay, the solder is attracted to the hottest spot. So if you're soldering two pieces together, if I wanted to take this pipe and this union, or this adapter here, and solder them together, then I would heat back here, okay, and I would hold my solder to the front like this. And as this got hot enough in the back here, it would just suck the solder right in and solder the whole thing together. Okay. This here, I pre-tin that piece. I could pre-tin the wire too, but I'm not gonna. I'm just gonna try heating it up and see what happens here. See how it fell right into it? Okay, the wire just fell right into position. When that cools off, it's soldered together. Now, if I need more solder on it, I can heat it up and put some more solder on it. Okay. All right. And just let it cool off. Pretty simple. I mean, bigger pieces like this is real simple to do. There you go. You know, you're soldered together. Then all you got to do is, it's still hot. There you go. See how it is finally starting to change color from real shiny to dull. There it is. The piece is on there. It's soldered on. It's real. It's still real hot. It's completely covered up and it's sealed up real good. It'll hold, hold for a long time, no problem. I have a little piece here to show you how I did these rings. I have it all set up already. It's already cleaned up. And I'm going to take the camera and go over to it, so hang on a minute.